But I will tell you something bigger is going on with gold than we're being led to believe. It is moving in a manner that I've never seen in 35 years in strength that is defying everything that us in the gold market have ever seen for the last 3 decades, for sure. Gold will be tied to a new system, and I do believe it will be through something like Judy's Treasury. She told me flat out Trump's going to issue them July 4th, 2026, 250th anniversary. So we'll see if she's right. Oh, look, Goldman Sachs is saying 4,500 by the end of the year is a possibility. They were calling for 3,700, as it could get as high as 45. I mean, can you believe you even hearing that with your ears? Well,
gold is moving in an extraordinary and unprecedented way, unlike anything seen in the past 35 years. Even major institutions like Goldman Sachs are now predicting gold could reach 4,500 by year's end, a dramatic shift in mainstream outlook. The speaker also thinks gold will play a central role in a new financial system, possibly through a major U.S. government initiative, like Judy's Treasury, which is rumored to launch on July 4th, 2026, the country's 250th anniversary. The speaker, Andy Schectman, a well-respected bullion dealer in the U.S., suggests that gold is being quietly positioned at the center of a significant financial shift, potentially driven by U.S. policy under Trump and supported by influential figures like Judy Shelton. This could include a new system where long-term treasuries are pegged to gold, and stablecoins are issued based on those treasuries, strengthening both the dollar and gold's role. Commercial and central banks, seeing this shift coming, have been strategically accumulating gold while manipulating markets to shake out retail investors. Meanwhile, countries like China encourage citizens to buy gold through state-sponsored programs. All of this, Andy argues, is part of a deliberate, long-term strategy to revalue gold, rebuild trust in the monetary system, and ultimately re-anchor the dollar in something tangible and scarce: gold. Let's jump into the video for more details. If you like what you see, please thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our latest content.
There's a fine line between conspiracy and reality, Jay, and it's no longer really conspiracy. It's certainly the biggest banks in the world it would benefit. It would benefit perhaps even the United States if they are trying to play the long game with gold. Judy Shelton is right, and they're going to peg gold redeemable on 50-year treasuries next July. Then the first thing to do is reshore the gold and slowly let it rise. And it has been rising. And I'll get into one thing on CNBC in a moment. But to give you an example of the vested interest, at least in some of these big banks who are trying to get out of their positions, arguably, when the price of gold fell by $200 an ounce last week or 2 weeks ago, the amount of open interest that was closed out is off the charts. See if I have the exact number here. I hope I do. They more or less, here it is right here. So the commercial banks were very short and the hedge funds were very long. So they dropped the price down, and the open interest, you're talking so much gold that was sold and covered billions of dollars worth. And then when they close out those positions, the hedge funds, because the price is getting clobbered at 100 ounces a piece, do the math, it's extraordinary, a huge amount. You end up then seeing those contracts being bought up by the commercial banks who take the other side, and now gold's up over almost $300 since then. It benefits the largest banks in the world who need to get on the other side of this. It benefits all those that have been accumulating it, the central banks. I was working out the other day in the gym, and I was in front of an elliptical machine, which was I was on an elliptical machine in front of a TV with CNBC, and gold's at all-time highs, and they have a ticker that goes by, and underneath it, there are boxes that spin. And I saw gold all-time high, at almost $3,300, and it was 47 spins of the box before gold came back up again. I noticed it, and then I started counting it, 47 spins in between gold once, and then bang, and the other spins would be like 10-year Treasury, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Nikkei, blah, blah. And there's 3 boxes, and I'm looking, no gold, 47 spins later, there is gold, but in the interim, Bitcoin came up 9 times, or Bitcoin futures. And so, I mean, it's there again, fine line between conspiracy and reality. But if you would have told me at any point in my career gold beat 3,300, and I'd eat my hat, and here we are. It's this tells me we're very early, because the only ones buying it, Jay, are the most well-informed traders in the world. The central banks, the sovereign wealth funds, and the commercial banks, they're positioning always ahead of the little guy who, this is why you see so many deliveries coming out of the Shanghai Metals Exchange. It's to their own people. And so they have been telling their own people to buy gold and silver for the last 5 years, and through the state-sponsored savings programs that are then delivered right through the Shanghai Metals Exchange. They're now opening it up to their insurance companies to invest, starting with their 5 or 6 biggest insurance companies, investing a very small portion of their assets into precious metals. There's talk of opening it up into other insurance companies, their entire insurance industry. They are slowly not just accumulating gold for themselves, but making it a priority for their people, which would support what you're saying, that they want prosperity for their people. And you're really defined by the strength of your nation as a whole. And if you can enrich 1,000 metric tons and the state had 20, well, if that's true, the people alone would have over 3 times what the United States has. That they would have 2.5 times. Well, just 2.25 times what the United States supposedly has alone. That's before the state. So, and again, I can't substantiate or verify that, but I can tell you that they have been through this state-sponsored program buying gold, the stablecoin market right now, where Tether, which was in trouble by the Treasury, somehow miraculously isn't, but their balance sheet changed to almost all Treasuries. USDC, almost all Treasuries. The new Ripple deal, almost all Treasuries. So every time there are stable coins that are used within the crypto system, it's supporting the legacy system, which is the cruel irony of it all. And so if you issue treasuries, and Judy said, then we'll have stable coins issued off of them. Again, these will all support the treasury market. So not only do you have a treasury that is redeemable in gold, which will incentivize demand, you issue stable coins off of them, which are backed by more treasuries. It's, to me, there are very few other things that you can do, because who wants to buy a treasury earning 4.5% for 10 years by a country that's, if you look at what real inflation is, not the lie coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I mean, you could call it the CP lie and take the L out of the BLS, and that's a better representation of the inflation. But so, yeah, who wants to buy a treasury when we're inflating away the currency? And you look at the instability of the treasury market, where, there's greater volatility in the treasury market over the last few years than in gold. That's something you never saw before. So plus it can be sanctioned and weaponized. So yeah, I think that's the only way you turn it around. And then that goes hand in hand. Would they revalue gold? I don't know. Is it ironic that it's held in the gold revaluation account? Roosevelt did it. Even Nixon did it. When Nixon closed the gold window in 71 at $35 an ounce, the next year he revalued it to 38, and the next year to 42.22. And that means the dollar devalues, which is what Trump wants. Gold goes higher. And well, if you have reshored it all and you continue to take delivery of it, and it's funny, you talk conspiracy, the line between it. JP Morgan always chafed my rear end that they were allowed to continue to be the custodian of SLV, the world's largest silver trust, after paying a $920 million fine for manipulating the market. But they have now taken over as primary custodian, with BlackRock in both instances, as the primary custodian of GLD. And in 2 vaults in London and in New York, they own more gold than most of the G20 countries. So you want to talk about like conspiracy? Well, they could close those 2 funds on a Friday night, take all the gold, take all the silver, put dollars that they print into your money market account and say what?
Andy sees gold as a hedge and a cornerstone of a coming financial reset that aligns global monetary systems with transparency, stability, and hard assets. As central banks and major institutions quietly reposition, the average investor remains unaware of gold's growing strategic importance. Whether or not these developments materialize as predicted, the increasing alignment of policy, institutional behavior, and market signals suggests that gold's role in the financial system is far from over. In fact, it may just begin. What would a gold-backed Treasury system mean for everyday investors and the global economy? If central banks are accumulating gold, should individual investors follow their lead? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos.